The sky was falling, and it was made of purple fire. The giant hand descended from the cracks in the dimension like a judgment from a cruel god. It was not just big, it was endless. The fingers were so large that they looked like mountain ranges made of burning plasma. The palm was a flat ceiling of destruction that blocked out the entire void. The heat hit the arena first. It was a wave of hot air that tasted like sulfur and burning metal. The white stone floor of the maze began to hiss. Steam rose up from the ground. The walls of the maze that were already broken began to melt into white sludge. Son Goku stood in the center of the chaos. He looked up. His blue eyes were wide. He could see the swirling energy in the palm of the giant hand. It was mesmerizing. It was terrifying. He could feel the pressure on his skin. It felt like he was standing at the bottom of the deepest ocean. The gravity from the hand was pushing him down. His boots sank an inch into the melting floor. Goku clenched his fists. His knuckles turned white. He was in his Super Saiyan blue form. The blue aura around him was usually calm and flowing like water. But now it was jagged. It was flickering like a candle in a hurricane. The pressure from the hand was crushing his energy. Goku tried to take a breath, but the air was too hot. It burned his throat. He coughed. This is big, Goku thought. This is bigger than Jiren. This is bigger than Broly. This is pure energy. If that hand touches us, we will not just die. We will be erased. There will be nothing left, not even a spirit. Goku looked around. He saw the others. They were all struggling. Ainz' Ooal gown was on his knees. The skeleton mage was shaking. His bones were rattling against each other. The red orb in his chest was dim. He was trying to cast a barrier spell, but the magic was dissolving as soon as it left his staff. The heat was too intense for normal magic. Ainz looked terrified. His jaw was open in a silent scream. He was looking at death, and for the first time in a long time, he did not have a plan. Near him, Rimuru Tempest had turned into a puddle. He was in his slime form because it was harder to crush, but even the slime was bubbling. The heat was boiling him alive. Rimuru was trying to use his skills to eat the heat, but there was too much of it. It was like trying to drink the ocean. Goku looked back at the hand. It was getting closer. He could see the lines on the palm now. They were like rivers of darker fire. "We need to push it back," Goku yelled. His voice was lost in the roar of the wind. He yelled louder, "We have to fight it." Song Jinwoo heard him. The hunter was standing on top of a pile of rubble. He looked different. He had eaten the crystal shard from the core. His body was glowing with a strange white light. Shadows were leaking out of his eyes like black tears. He was in pain, terrible pain. The system inside his head was screaming errors. The shard was trying to rewrite his DNA. It was trying to make him part of the arena. But Jinwoo was fighting it. He was using the power to hack the reality around him. Jinwoo looked up at the hand. He did not feel fear. He felt anger. He was tired of being a pawn in someone else's game. He raised his left hand. The shadows on the ground reacted. They did not just rise. They exploded upwards. "Rise," Jinwoo screamed. The sound of his voice broke the roar of the wind. A massive army of shadows shot up from the ground. It was the Shadow Hydra. It was the Shadow Golem. It was 1,000 Shadow Knights. They flew up towards the giant hand like a swarm of angry bees. They were made of darkness, and the hand was made of light. The shadows hit the hand. Sizzle. It sounded like bacon hitting a hot pan. The shadows burned. The purple fire consumed them instantly. The Shadow Hydra bit into the thumb of the giant hand, but its head melted away in a second. The Shadow Knights stabbed the palm, but their swords evaporated. Jinwoo flinched. Every time a shadow died, he felt it. He felt the burn on his own soul. It felt like his skin was being peeled off. But he did not stop. He poured more mana into the shadows. He forced them to regenerate. He forced them to keep pushing. It is not enough, Jinwoo gritted his teeth. The hand is too heavy. It is like trying to stop a falling moon with a sheet of paper. Goku saw Jinwoo struggling. He saw the shadows burning away. He knew that physical attacks would not work. He knew that simple energy blasts would not work. They needed something pure. They needed something that could push back the evil of the hand. Goku dropped his hands to his sides. He closed his eyes for a second to focus. He thought about his friends. He thought about Earth. He thought about Chi-Chi and Gohan. He needed to protect them. Even though he was in a different dimension, he was fighting for them. If he died here, he could never see them again. That thought gave him strength. Goku opened his eyes. He raised his hands high above his head. He spread his fingers wide. "Everyone listen to me," Goku shouted. His voice carried over the noise. "I need your energy. I cannot do this alone. If we do not work together, we are all going to turn into dust." Ichigo Kurosaki was the first to hear him. The Soul Reaper was standing near a broken wall. He was using his sword Zangetsu to shield his face from the heat. His black coat was smoking. Ichigo looked at Goku. He saw the pose. He had seen Goku do this before in the manga he read as a kid. "The spirit bomb," Ichigo said. "He wants to make a spirit bomb, but there is no planet here. There is no nature energy." Ichigo looked at his own hand. He could feel his spiritual pressure. It was wild and heavy. "He needs us," Ichigo realized. Ichigo stepped forward. He stabbed his giant black sword into the ground. He stood tall. He ignored the heat. He closed his eyes and focused on the center of his chest. He pushed his energy out. A thick stream of red and black energy shot out of his body. It flew through the air and landed in Goku's left hand. "Take it," Ichigo yelled. "It is all I have got. Do not miss." Goku felt the energy. It was heavy and sharp. It felt like a sword. "Thanks, Ichigo," Goku said. Next was Monkey D. Luffy. The pirate captain was lying on a flat rock. He had been knocked out by the Judgment Lightning earlier, but the heat was waking him up. Luffy opened one eye. He saw the purple fire. He saw Goku with his arms up. Luffy did not know what was happening exactly, but he knew his friend needed help. Luffy sat up. He was dizzy. His head was spinning, but he grinned. He bit his thumb. "Gear 5, Luffy whispered. His heart began to beat like a drum. Boom, da, da, boom. His hair turned white. White clouds floated around his neck. He laughed. It was a weak laugh, but it was a laugh. "Here you go, spiky guy," Luffy said. Luffy stretched his arms up. White, rubbery energy floated out of him. It was bouncy and light. It flew into Goku's right hand. It mixed with Ichigo's energy. The ball of light above Goku began to grow. It was small at first, the size of a beach ball. Then it was the size of a car. Ainz Ooal saw the light. He stopped shaking. He looked at the skeleton hand holding his staff. He was an overlord. He was a ruler of death. He could not die crouching on the floor like a coward. He stood up. He straightened his purple robe. "I am Ainz Ooal," Ainz shouted. "I do not bow to hands. I am the one who rules." Ainz pointed his staff at Goku. He did not attack. He reversed his mana flow. Blue magical energy poured out of the staff. It was cold and logical energy. It flew into the ball. Rimuru Tempest reformed his human body. He ignored the burns on his skin. He held out both hands. "Great sage, give him everything we can spare," Rimuru commanded. Golden particles of magic drifted from Rimuru to Goku. Voldigoad was standing with his arms crossed. He was watching the giant hand with a bored expression. The heat did not seem to bother him. He looked at Goku and the growing ball of energy. A spirit bomb, Anna said. A primitive technique. You beg for power from others because you lack your own. Anos sighed. He uncrossed his arms. He pointed one finger at the ball. However, Anos said, I suppose I can lend you a fraction of my power, just so you do not die and bore me later. A beam of dark red destructive energy shot from Anos' finger. It hit the ball. The ball pulsed. It doubled in size instantly. Goku gasped. The energy from Anos was incredibly dense. It felt heavier than a planet. Whoa, Goku said. That guy is strong. The spirit bomb was now huge. It was the size of a stadium. It was swirling with colors. Blue, red, gold, white, and black. It was a mixture of ki, chakra, haki, magic, and spiritual pressure. It was the most chaotic ball of energy ever created. The giant hand was close now. The fingertips were touching the tops of the maze walls. The walls crumbled instantly. Goku felt his muscles tearing. The ball was too heavy. His legs were shaking. The ground under him cracked and shattered. He sank up to his knees in the debris. Hurry, Satoru, Gojo said. Gojo was standing right next to Goku. He had his hand on Goku's back. He was not giving energy. He was using his Limitless technique to reinforce Goku's body. He was keeping Goku's spine from snapping under the weight. I got you, Gojo said. Just throw it. Goku grit his teeth. He screamed. It was a primal scream. Ha! Goku roared. He pushed with everything he had. He threw the massive rainbow ball upwards. The spirit bomb flew up. It hit the palm of the giant purple hand. Boom! There was no sound at first, just a blinding white light. It was brighter than 1,000 suns. Everyone had to close their eyes. Even Jinwoo with his glowing eyes had to look away. Then the sound came. It was a crack that shattered the eardrums. The air exploded. The shockwave flattened the entire maze. The walls were gone. The floor was wiped clean. The warriors were thrown back like dolls. Luffy flew across the arena and hit a rock. Ainz was blown away and had to grab Rimuru to stop from falling into the void. Goku stood his ground. He was still pushing with his mind. He was guiding the bomb. Push, Goku yelled. Go up. The spirit bomb was grinding against the giant hand. Sparks the size of cities were flying off. The purple fire was fighting back. The hand was trying to crush the ball. The ball was trying to burn the hand. It was a stalemate. The bomb was not moving up. The hand was not moving down. They were stuck. It is not enough, Jinwoo said. He was on his knees. He had used all his shadows. The hand is too strong. Goku fell to one knee. He was exhausted. He had no more energy left. The spirit bomb began to flicker. It was losing power. The giant hand started to push it back down. We are going to lose, Ichigo said. He dropped his sword. But then they heard footsteps. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Someone was walking towards the explosion. Someone was walking calmly through the shock waves. It was Saitama. The bald hero looked bored. His yellow suit was torn in a few places. His cape was burnt at the edges. But he did not look worried. He looked at the giant hand and the spirit bomb. That is really bright, Saitama said. It is hurting my eyes. Saitama walked past Goku. He patted Goku on the shoulder. Good job, Sparkle Man, Saitama said. You loosened the lid. Saitama looked up. He planted his red boots firmly on the ground. He took a deep breath. He pulled his right fist back. His face changed. The bored look vanished. For a split second he looked serious. His eyes became sharp. The air around him stopped moving. Killer move, Saitama said softly. The world seemed to slow down. Goku watched in slow motion as Saitama's muscles tightened. Serious series. Saitama said. He thrust his fist forward. Serious punch. Saitama did not touch the spirit bomb. He did not touch the hand. He punched the empty space right in the center of the arena. The force of the punch was invisible, but the effect was impossible. The air in front of his fist was compressed into a beam of pure vacuum. It shot upwards. It went right through the center of the spirit bomb without hurting it. It added momentum to it. It hit the giant hand. Crack. The sound was like the universe breaking in half. The giant hand shattered. It did not just break. It disintegrated. The purple fire was blown away by the wind of the punch. The fingers dissolved into dust. The palm shattered like glass. The spirit bomb, now free, shot up into the sky. It flew through the hole that the hand had made. It flew into the purple clouds. Kaboom! The spirit bomb exploded high in the dimension. It cleared the sky. The purple clouds vanished. The grey void vanished. For a moment they saw the true sky. It was a grid. A digital grid of green lines and black space. The judge screamed. It was a digital scream. It sounded like a computer crashing. Error, error, error. The judge voice glitched. Connection lost. The pressure vanished. The heat vanished. The gravity returned to normal. Goku fell forward onto his face. He was done. He reverted to his base form. His black hair was flat. He was breathing so hard his back was heaving up and down. Saitama stood there with his fist still extended. Smoke was coming off his glove. He blew on his glove to cool it down. "Phew," Saitama said. "That was a hot one." Silence fell over the arena. The warriors slowly stood up. They looked around. The maze was gone. The arena was just a small circle of flat white stone now. It was barely 10 meters wide. They were all huddled together. "Is it over?" Luffy asked. He was sitting up, rubbing his head. "Did we win?" "I do not think so," Gojo said. Gojo was looking at the sky. The grid was flickering. A large crack had appeared where the hand had come from. It looked like a tear in a screen. "We broke the container," Gojo said. "We are not in a world. We are in a program, or a simulation." That punch broke the simulation. Suddenly, the crack in the sky widened. A beam of blue light shot down. It hit the center of the arena. A figure appeared in the light. It was a man. He looked very normal. He was wearing a black suit and a tie. He had glasses. He was holding a clipboard. He looked like an accountant. He looked tired. He tapped his pen on the clipboard. "This is highly irregular," the man said. Goku looked up. "Who are you?" Goku asked weakly. "Are you the judge?" The man shook his head. "No," the man said. "The judge is just an AI. I am a clerk. I work for the agency of multiversal entertainment. You are not supposed to break the set." Anas Voldigoad stepped forward. He towered over the small man. "The set?" Anas asked. "You call this a set? You kidnap kings and gods for a show." The clerk shrugged. He did not look afraid of Anos. "It is a very popular show," the clerk said. "The ratings were high until you broke the camera. Now my boss is angry. Protocol Omega failed, so I have to file a termination report." The clerk pressed a button on his pen. "What does that mean?" Ichigo asked. The arena under their feet began to glow red. A timer appeared in the air. 010, 009. "It means the show is cancelled," the clerk said, "and the actors are deleted." The clerk turned around. The beam of light began to pull him back up. "Hey, wait," Rimuru yelled. Rimuru shot out a sticky thread. It grabbed the clerk's leg. "You are not leaving," Rimuru said. Rimuru pulled. The clerk fell out of the beam. He hit the ground. His glasses fell off. "Hey, that is assault," the clerk yelled. Ainz All-Gown stepped forward. He pointed his staff at the clerk. Silence, Ainz commanded. The clerk froze. He could not speak. We are taking your exit, Ainz said. The timer was at 0:05. The floor was getting hot. The red light was blinding. We have to jump, Goku yelled. Into the light beam. Luffy grabbed his hat. Let's go, Luffy shouted. Jinwoo grabbed the frozen clerk. You are coming with us, Jinwoo said. We need answers. 0:03. They ran. They all ran towards the blue beam of light. 0:02. Saitama was the last one. He looked at the crumbling arena. He looked at the void where Naruto had fallen. I hope the ninja guy found a way out too, Saitama said. 0:01. They jumped. Boom. The arena exploded. It turned into pure data. It vanished into nothingness. But the warriors were gone. They were inside the blue beam. They were flying through a tunnel of light. It was like a roller coaster made of neon. They saw images flashing past them. They saw Goku fighting Frieza. They saw Luffy finding the One Piece. They saw Naruto becoming Hokage. They saw their own lives playing on screens. They are watching us, Ichigo said. They have been watching us forever. The tunnel ended. They were spat out onto a cold metal floor. Thud, thud, thud. They landed in a pile. The clerk landed on top of them. Goku stood up first. He looked around. They were in a room. A giant room. It looked like the bridge of a spaceship or a massive control center. The walls were covered in thousands of screens. Some screens were black. Some were showing static. Some were showing other fights in other universes. There were rows of desks. People, or things that looked like people, were sitting at the desks. They were wearing headsets. They looked shocked. They were staring at the anime characters standing in the middle of their office. We are in the control room, Gojo said. He dusted off his clothes. A loud alarm began to blare. Red lights flashed on the ceiling. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Subject Alpha has breached the control room. A heavy door at the far end of the room hissed open. Steam poured out. Step away from the console. A metallic voice boomed. A squad of robots marched out. They were not the simple robots from movies. They were sleek. They were made of liquid metal. They had guns that glowed with purple energy, the same energy as the giant hand. There were 50 of them. They lined up and aimed their weapons at Goku and the others. Goku cracked his knuckles. He was tired. He had no energy left for a spirit bomb. But he smiled. I guess the tournament is over, Goku said. Now the real fight starts. Saitama stood up. He looked at the robots. Do you think they have a bathroom here? Saitama asked. I really need to go. Luffy laughed. He stretched his arms. Let's wreck this place, Luffy said. The warriors of the multiverse stood back to back. They were in the belly of the beast. They were fighting the writers of their own destiny. The robots charged. The episode ended with Goku rushing forward, his fist raised against the army of machines. The gods have escaped the arena, but they have landed in the headquarters of their captors. Who runs the agency? And is Naruto really gone forever? Find out in the next episode.